Hello, my name is Nishat Noor and welcome to Millennium Headlines. This week's top headlines are: Weekly address, make 2015 the year for quality, affordable health insurance. Shelter education for all children. Big pieces of Air Asia jet are found. Search crews have recovered bodies. More sanctions on North Korea after Sony case. Boko Haram seizes 40 boys and men in northern Nigeria. New tactics. Smugglers put ships on autopilot. The path of the Ebola outbreak. Now the details to this week's top headlines. In this week's address, the Vice President Joe Biden wished Americans a Happy New Year and asked that as we make resolutions to get healthier in 2015, we take the time to sign up for the health insurance through the Affordable Care Act.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Biden. I want to wish you all a Happy New Year. I know this is the time of year when we make resolutions to take care of our health, whether it's joining a gym or eating healthier. But there's one thing you can do right now that will also make a big difference in your health. That is getting quality, affordable health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. Because of that law, access to quality health care is improving. Last year, almost 7 million people signed up for health care coverage under the new law and paid their premiums. And in many cases, the cost of health care is less than the cost of your cell phone or your cable bill. In addition, millions more are getting the care that they need through Medicaid that they weren't getting before. And because of the new law, people who already had health insurance are also benefiting from additional protections. For example, their insurance companies can't deny them coverage because of pre-existing conditions like asthma or diabetes. And they're able to get for free preventative services like mammograms or blood pressure screenings that their doctors ordered for them, saving them a lot of money. Everyone is beginning to realize what millions of you already know. The Affordable Care Act is working. And we're just getting started. Because there are millions more of you who can get quality, affordable health care if you sign up before February 15th of this year. That's now through February 15th. Now, if you don't have insurance, you can go to healthcare.gov where you'll find a menu of a bunch of different plans and what each plan covers and how much each plan costs. All you have to do is just pick one, the best one that fits your family's healthcare needs and your family's budget. If you don't want to go to healthcare.gov and you want to talk to somebody on the phone instead, you can call, I'm going to give you the number now, you can call 1-800-318-2596. From this moment on, you can call any time of the day, any day of the week. Phone lines are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And for folks listening today whose family and friends may not speak English, let them know that there are translators available in over 150 languages to guide them through the process. And if you're not comfortable going online or speaking on the phone and you want to sit down with an individual to help you through this, you can find out where to go as well. Because in every community, at local libraries or community health centers, people are there to help. All you have to do is go on healthcare.gov, type in where you live, and you can find out exactly where to go to sit down with a person who will help you walk through the process. But here's the really important point I want to make. If you don't sign up by February 15th of this year, with only a very few exceptions, if you don't sign up by the 15th of this year, you're going to have to wait till 2016 to get health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. And even those of you who already have health insurance through the Affordable Health Care Act, you can also go on healthcare.gov to find a plan that may offer more benefits or be more affordable in price for you. You might even qualify for additional help paying for the insurance you choose because your income isn't what it was last year. Now, I'm sure some of you have already heard from your friends and neighbors who've signed up for health insurance under the Affordable Care Act, what I hear all around the country. I hear it provides peace of mind that someone you love will be covered if, God forbid, something happens. It provides security. So if you have a bad strain of your ankle or your back and you don't have the money to get treatment, you can now get the treatment rather than wait, put it off, and end up with a chronic condition. And it provides a lot of freedom and choice and opportunity. So you can switch jobs or move to another city without the fear that you'll lose out on the health insurance with the company you now have it with. And what I'm hearing most is how pleased and excited people are about how affordable it is. An awful lot of people who didn't think they could or would find quality, affordable health insurance are actually able to get assistance from the government to help them pay for their health care plans at a cheaper rate. Let me give you an example. A family of 4 with an income of around $95,000, they can still get a subsidy to lower their health care premiums. But maybe most importantly, what I hear is that we have finally ended the debate in this country of whether or not health insurance is a right or a privilege. We think everyone in America has a right to have adequate health care insurance, and the Affordable Care Act gives them that right. So sign up and spread the word. Protect your health, not only for your sake, but for the sake of your families. Thanks for listening, and Jill and I wish you again a happy and healthy New Year. God bless you, and may God protect our troops.
Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has directed the Social Welfare Ministry to take steps to ensure shelter and education for all the children, including orphans and street urchins. Prime Minister said, "I don't want to see any child passing days in a miserable condition, living alongside streets without going to school. We'll have to ensure a better life for them all," she said. An Indonesian official said 4 major pieces of the Airbus A320-200 jetliner that plunged into the Java Sea last Sunday had been found. The wreckage was located by sonar equipment, but divers had not yet been able to examine it because of high waves and perilous currents, according to the National Search and Rescue Agency.
An Indonesian official said 4 major pieces of the Airbus A320-200 jetliner that plunged into the Java Sea last Sunday had been found. Up until this moment, I can confirm that we have already received bodies.
Jumlahnya 30 jenazah. Tujuan saya menghadirkan
We have
kapal
also
tanker.
added more
Saya tidak
ships
ingin
and tankers
kehilangan.
because we don't
Sekali
want to
lagi,
lose all the
saya tidak
objects
ingin
in the area.
kehilangan semua objek pencarian yang ada di wilayah mission area. Hanya karena ditinggalkan oleh
One of our
kekuatan-kekuatan kita
vessels put
yang
out
harus
to
keluar daerah
resupply
pencarian
or
untuk
refuel.
melakukan bekal ulang.
The wreckage was located by sonar equipment, but divers had not yet been able to examine it because of high waves and perilous currents, according to National Search and Rescue Agency. Last Friday, officials said that they had recovered 46 bodies and identified 3 by the end of the 6th day of search operations. An Indonesian official told a local television station that some of the bodies were still belted into their seats. The official, Marsma Supriyadi, director of operations for the Search and Rescue Agency, said 8 of the bodies that had been recovered were sent to Surabaya, the capital of East Java. Millennium TV, Naim Mohammed, New York.
The Obama administration doubled down last Friday on its allegation that North Korea's leadership was behind the hacking of Sony Pictures, announcing new, if largely symbolic, economic sanctions against 10 senior North Korean officials and the intelligence agency it said was the source of many of North Korea's major cyber operations.
North Korea has been hit with more US sanctions in response to what Washington said was its role in a cyber attack on Sony Pictures Entertainment, according to the White House. The sanctions named North Korea's military intelligence agency, as well as 10 government officials. Pyongyang has been sanctioned by the US since the 1950s. Those measures have been tightened in the wake of the country's 3 nuclear weapons tests. Senior US officials said that the entities and individuals targeted by the new sanctions were not directly implicated in the hacking, which led Sony to pull screenings of the movie The Interview due to security concerns.
Kim Jong-un is now capable of nuking all of the West Coast. The CIA would love it if you two could take him out. Take him out.
Take him out.
You want us to assassinate the leader of North Korea?
Yes.
Suspected Boko Haram gunmen have kidnapped 40 boys and young men in a remote village in northeastern Nigerian Borno State on New Year's Eve. Residents who fled the isolated settlement said last Saturday.
Boko Haram militants have kidnapped 40 boys and young men in a remote village in Nigeria's northeastern Borno State. The abductions, which are said to have taken place on New Year's Eve, were reported by the residents who fled the isolated settlement. Well, they said scores of Boko Haram militants stormed the Malari village and whisked away the males into a nearby stronghold of Takfiri terrorist group. Residents of nearby villages have fled, fearing further abductions and attacks. Boko Haram is still holding in captivity more than 200 schoolgirls that it abducted from their school in Borno State last April. Days ago, President Goodluck Jonathan, who has faced criticism for failing to stop Boko Haram, vowed again to defeat the militant group.
Smugglers who bring migrants to Europe by sea appear to have adopted a new, more dangerous tactic, cramming hundreds of them into a large cargo ship, setting it on an automated course to crash into the coast, and then abandoning the helm.
Smugglers who bring migrants to Europe by sea appear to have adopted a new and more dangerous tactic, cramming hundreds of them into a large cargo ship, setting it on an automated course to crash into the coast, and then abandoning the helm. It happened twice this week in the span of 3 days, and both episodes could have ended in tragedy if the vessels had not been intercepted at sea. In the latest such incident, a cargo ship was stopped with about 450 migrants aboard after smugglers sent it speeding toward the Italian coast in rough seas with no one in command. Italian authorities lowered engineers and electricians onto the wave-tossed ship by helicopter to secure it, and the Icelandic Coast Guard began towing it toward port in Italy. Children and pregnant women were among the migrants, most of whom were believed to be refugees from war-ravaged Syria.
Let's take a look at how the disease spread far beyond Miliando, Guinea in just a few months.
This is Meliandou, a small village tucked into the forests of southeastern Guinea. It is home to a few dozen families. It has no electricity and no running water. Here, in December of 2013, a 1-year-old boy named Emile is thought to be the first victim of the Ebola outbreak. By the end of March, 11 people will have died in the village. The boy's grandmother is linked to 2 people from the nearby village of Dawa who get the disease. A relative of Meliandou's midwife takes Ebola to yet another village, Dondupombo. It takes about 30 minutes to drive on the dirt road from Meliandou to the largest town nearby, Gekadou. The midwife is taken to a hospital there. In Gekadou, a health worker also becomes ill and is taken to Macenta. Soon after, a doctor dies there. The doctor is buried in Kisidogu. Within weeks, more than 60 people will have died across the region. The outbreak starts at the intersection of 3 of the poorest countries in the world. The area is home to the Kissi ethnic group. There are few official border crossings from Gekadou into the neighboring country of Liberia, but extended families cross easily by foot and dugout canoe. In this part of the world, the few existing clinics and hospitals often lack running water and hand soap. The region had little familiarity with Ebola since nearly all of the previous outbreaks were in Central Africa. Making matters worse, Ebola's symptoms resemble endemic diseases in West Africa like malaria, cholera, and Lassa fever. By February, People connected to the first patient's family are thought to have died in Conakry and in Kekahu, Sierra Leone. This indicates that the virus probably traveled far and crossed borders early in the outbreak. But the first confirmed cases of Ebola in Guinea came only on March 21st. Days later, an Ebola case is confirmed in the capital, Conakry, a city of more than 1.5 million people. Still, reports of new infections decline in late April, a statistical plateau that resembles the historical outbreaks that burned out after a few months. Some international health organizations begin to relax their operations. Meanwhile, weak contact tracing and local suspicion toward foreigners and national authorities allows the disease to spread outside the clinics. Ultimately, the virus resurfaces. In Sierra Leone, unconfirmed cases of people dying in the village of Pondu with Ebola-like symptoms start as early as March, but the first confirmed case comes only in late May. In July, Ebola is confirmed in Freetown, the capital. The patient is a woman living in a Kissi neighborhood of the city. At this point, the outbreak is surging out of control.
Thank you for watching Millennium Headlines. See you next week.